Hey Premed Star, welcome back to my application series vlog. I hope you guys have been having a great week. This week was my last week at my summer internship, so getting ready to head back to school. And that was kind of sad, but it's been such a fun summer and I've had a great time at my internship, so it was a happy ending. And another happy ending was that I submitted my last secondaries this week. Woohoo! But y'all have heard me talk enough about secondaries, so I thought that this week I would talk about something a little bit different, and it is actually a topic that came up during my internship and a couple other places this week, and that's networking as a pre-med. So networking is important in all aspects of life, and certainly as a pre-medical student, you want to build your network of peers so that you can have a support system going through all of your classes and the application journey. And you also need to build your professional network. So that can include the people who are going to write your letters of recommendation and potentially people who have to deal with admissions, mentors. So networking can sound kind of like this scary, amorphous topic. So I wanted to break it down into just a few things that you can pretty easily do to start building your network, both of your peers and of professional contacts. I remember being a freshman in college and being kind of overwhelmed by everything that was happening and about my pre-med classes and all the different organizations that you can join. The first thing I did was, as soon as I stepped foot on campus, and I think this is the easiest way for anyone to get involved with networking, was to join different organizations that you're passionate about. And those are certainly a great place for you to connect with your peers who are going to be probably in the same classes as you, and you might even get to meet some upperclassmen who could share tips with you about what professors to take and maybe even share their notes or advice on different things to get involved in. It's also a great place to build your leadership skills if you so desire to get involved in club leadership. And I think most people are probably pretty comfortable with that. We all, of course, want to get to know our classmates and our peers, and that's kind of a fun thing to do. So that doesn't necessarily, I think, usually fall under the topic of like networking that people get scared about. As far as professional networking, I think the best way to get into it is to start small. So you don't have to jump right into cold calling people or emailing people who are, at the top of your field that you're really interested in talking to. I think the first step in successful networking is starting with, again, people on your campus. If you have a pre-medical advising office, then those are some great people to start talking to. That advisor will be a wealth of resources for you as far as what kind of activities to get involved in, maybe some different internships, what shadowing opportunities look like. So if they offer different classes for you to go to or little meetups, then definitely take advantage of those. But of course, there will be a ton of other pre-medical students at those different classes. So it's still important to make that personal connection with your advisor. So what I did as a freshman was I emailed my advisor and asked to just have a one-on-one meeting to talk about my goals and to make sure everything was on track, that sort of thing. And my advisor was super open to that. So what I did was I went in to meet with them and I had a few specific questions that I wanted to ask. I think that that's a really helpful thing when you're talking about meeting somebody new, and this can be anybody that you're trying to network with. Just have a few specific questions, and then if the conversation goes on from there, that's awesome, but at least you'll have kind of a jumping off point. My questions for my advisor had to do with resources for out-of-state students to a certain degree, since I had come from so far away. And it also had to do with clinical exposure. Since I was not from around the area, I really did not have any sort of personal contacts with physicians, and I was interested to hear if the pre-medical office had any sort of programs or if they had any advice on talking to doctors in the area. I went in and not only got my questions answered, but also got to know the pre-medical advisor a little bit, and they got to know me as well. So that was great. And I've continued to consistently go in at least once a semester or so and really just keep up that relationship and continue to ask those insightful questions and let them know where you are as well. They can not only be a resource for you, they could also potentially vouch for you if the opportunity arises. So definitely not a bad thing for them to know who you are and know your goals. Then the next step up from there, for me at least, was to try to push myself a little bit out of my comfort zone. And that looked like joining other campus organizations that were not necessarily pre-med oriented. So I ended up joining several different interest groups. Some were focused around dance. I also became an ambassador for the university and for the Honors College. Those opportunities really allowed me to form a relationship with not only some other peers, but with professionals on campus who were connected with other people as well. You would be surprised just having casual conversations with people when you're working an event or you're at a club meeting, where those can lead to as far as who those people know or different opportunities that have presented themselves that they're going to talk to you about. So I would really encourage you to push yourself outside your comfort zone just a little bit after you've had some of those initial experiences and conversations. So with that being said, once you've really grown your network centrally around the things that you're involved in and the campus that you're on, I would say always be open to new opportunities and just really explore, be curious about your interests. I've had pointed conversations with the people that I've networked with on my campus about different opportunities that I'm interested in to see if they might have a connection, and sometimes it's worked out, sometimes it hasn't, but having those conversations are great. And sometimes they lead to different opportunities as well. And that's how I ended up at several of my internships, was just having an open mind and being willing to have conversations with people. And when you are exploring your interest, you can always try to look for people who are in your chosen field and reach out to them if you'd be interested in talking to them. If you're going to cold email people, you definitely need to be prepared to not get an email back or to get a rejection, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. I actually ended up at my current internship because I was doing some research for my thesis, and one of the things that my advisor had asked me to do was reach out to some experts in the field. And I came to find out through that research that there was an internship opportunity and decided to take it. And when you're at any sort of event or in any sort of organization that really presents you with those opportunities to meet some really interesting people, don't be afraid to talk to them. And I would say, just like you've done with your pre-medical advisor, make sure that you have some insightful questions for them. Make sure that you sort of know their background and maybe have something pointed to ask them about how they got to where they did, or if they have an opinion on maybe a certain degree program or a certain school that they went to. And if you're able to, it's never a bad idea to offer help or have some sort of value proposition for them. Many people are so open and willing to talking to you about anything, but if you really want to get to know that person, a great way to do that is to offer your help in some way. And potentially the most important thing I could say in this video is always make sure to thank the people that you talk to and that you're networking with, and follow up with them. If you've connected with someone and just had a conversation, but you know that in the future there's going to be things that you could talk to them about, don't be afraid to shoot them a quick email and just update them on what's going on, or to say thank you and this is where your advice has led me. And you never know, updating them on where you are, it might actually lead to something else or some other connection. So that's my advice on networking as a pre-med. Start small, start local, then push yourself. Really make an effort to talk to anybody and everybody you can. Always be open and searching for opportunities, and make sure that you follow up with the people that you've networked with, and of course thank them. And of course the easiest thing for you to do right now to start your pre-med network is to get on premedstar.com. There's medical students, fellow pre-meds, admissions committee members, all on the PremedStar site for you to start talking to and start connecting with. If you all have any advice about networking, or if you have any questions or comments for me, feel free to leave a comment below or shoot me a message on the site, and make sure to subscribe to the PremedStar YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.